What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the X-Force Varex Catback exhaust system fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos, including both the 2.3 and the 2.7 and 2 and 4 door models, but it does not fit the Raptor model, so just keep that in mind. Now this is going to be for the Bronco owner who is looking for the best of both worlds with their exhaust system, who wants an aggressive and loud system to turn some heads, but also does like some peace and quiet from their exhaust from time to time. Now this will allow you the option to fully open, partially open, or close a valve in the muffler to customize the sound that's coming from your Bronco. With that being said, with that valve fully closed, it is going to be very close to stock, so I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 on the loudness meter. However, when it's fully open, it's getting a 5 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud. Now with that large gap and all of those volume levels in between, this is going to be a fantastic option if you want an exhaust system that's going to adapt to your lifestyle and that's not going to completely break the bank. Now the biggest draw to this exhaust is the customization that you get that isn't common unless you have a Raptor with active exhaust. Now the muffler will include a butterfly valve that is controlled by either these two fobs here or an app that you can download to your smartphone, but either will let you fully open the valve, partially open the valve at 25, 50, and 75%, in addition to fully closing the valve if you want the sound to return back basically to stock. I do want to note that the Bluetooth controller is sold separately and is required for the app, and you can find it on the X-Force website. The app will also come with some additional features, including Geo Mode, where you can circle an address to make sure that the exhaust changes once you get close to there. So for example, if you're running with the exhaust fully open, you set it to close. Once you get close to home, it will automatically do that thanks to the app. You also have some triggers to close, open, or set to any level with speed and RPM, allowing you to completely customize this exhaust system and its tone and volume. Now speaking of the volume levels, with this completely shut, this is going to be fairly quiet. It's going to give you a slightly deeper tone, not much volume, and again, it's going to be basically a step up from stock, and you're not really going to hear it inside the cab area with no drone at all. Now once you open that valve, especially if it's all the way open, this is going to dramatically increase that volume and have a verbally deep and very rich tone that you can't miss in any RPM, and you're really going to be able to hear those turbos. Now with the valve open, you can hear it in the cab, but if that bothers you for even a second, you can close it on the fly, even if you're driving with the fob or the app. Now sound isn't the only cool thing or the only option that you get out of this exhaust system. You also have 2 interchangeable tip options that come in the box. You have this high clearance choice that is great for off-roading or more of that sleeper vibe, and then you get this polished tip for a more sporty and classic appearance. Now this exhaust system has a very well-built construction with a high-quality 304 stainless steel build, which is very rust resistant no matter what climate that you're in. So no matter if you're in a dry climate or you're in the Rust Belt, this is going to hold up just fine. The system will also be made of a 3-inch mandrel bent tubing, which is a little larger than factory, and that's going to help open up some flow and affect the sound as well as the muffler. This is the patented Varex valve muffler, which again is going to allow you to customize that sound. That valve module is attached to the back, so it is electronic. As you can see here, it is welded to a bracket, and it will plug right in to this wiring harness that is included in the box. This will have the valve module that's attached to the muffler and controlled by the remote. Now again, it will also come with everything that you need in order to install it and change out the tips, including the polished tip and the high clearance one. You're getting some brackets and all of the clamps here and all the factory style hangers welded on to the piping. Now, speaking of those welds quickly, this is going to have a very high quality construction as far as those welds are concerned. They're very clean, and you can tell that those are going to hold up just as well as the 304 material. Now, like I said, this kit is not going to necessarily break the bank. It's going to be right in the middle at roughly $900, but I think for everything that's included, the options that you're getting with the sound, the look, and the function, that's going to be a fantastic price point. Not only is it adaptive to whatever exhaust sound that you want to hear that day, but the smaller, just as important features like the in-depth app, the well-built construction with quality 304, and the fact that you get both the polished and off-road tailpipe or tip makes this a super inclusive system. Now, not many are gonna come with the active features, let alone the rest of the benefits that this brings to the table, making it a fantastic choice if you're looking for an exhaust system that's going to offer you options for your Bronco. Now, this is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It does require a little bit of extra work after the exhaust is installed, including the wiring, but it's not that difficult. We'll get into it in just a second. It should take about an hour to get the job done. I just would recommend a little bit of a mechanical experience in order to get this done. Now, you may have to do some cutting on the mid pipe if you have a 2-door as well, but we will talk about that in just a second. At this point, we're gonna head over to the shop and check out a full detailed breakdown on how you can get this onto your Bronco at home. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, 3/8 extension, a 16, 15 swivel, 13 and 10 millimeter socket, diagonal cutters, an exhaust hanger tool, the supplied key fob, and also not shown be a lift and pull jacks. All right, so today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our Bronco. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to install a stock system, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
So to remove the axle back portion of our exhaust, we have a clamp with a 15 millimeter nut on it that we'll have to loosen up, as well as a couple hangers that we'll have to remove. So we can take a 15 millimeter socket to loosen up our nut on our clamp. Next, we can pop our hanger out of our isolator using a pair of exhaust hanger removers. And now we can do the same thing on the other side for our other isolator. So now once we have all of our hangers removed, we can pull back on our muffler to remove it. Now once we have the axle back portion of our exhaust removed, we can come up to our flange. We have two 15 millimeter nuts that we need to remove, and then two 10 millimeter bolts that hold our hanger. So now we can take a 15 millimeter socket to remove our two nuts. Next, we can grab a 10 millimeter socket for our two bolts holding in our hanger. Now lastly, we can remove our hanger that's right above the axle. So we'll get a hanger remover tool, pop that out. And now we can slide our pipe off of our flange up front and remove our exhaust pipe.
All right, we just need to take our stock mount off and swap it over to the new one. So we're gonna use our exhaust hanger removal tool and pop it off and just slide over. All right, now we can install our first pipe. All right, now we're gonna install our front pipe with our flange. We're gonna get lined up with our locating pin on top of our mount, and then our studs in our flange here. All right, as you can see, we also do have a pull jack just because this doesn't support weight very well. All right, we're gonna thread our two 10 millimeter bolts into our mount. And then we will grab our two 15 millimeter nuts, thread them onto our flange. All right, we're gonna take our impact, extension, and 15 millimeter swivel socket and tighten our flange down. All right, then we'll grab our 10 millimeter socket and tighten down our mount. All right, now we're gonna put our next section up. It will be with the hanger in the middle. We're gonna put our clamp over first. All the clamps are the same size. We're gonna slide our pipe over the front one first, and then put our hanger into the isolator. All right, now you may need to keep this section disconnected from the hanger just to get a little bit of clearance to put the over the axle pipe on. But we're gonna do that now. Have it hanging down low, put our clamp over, slide our over the axle pipe on, and then we can put this pipe into the hanger. All right, now we're on the passenger side of the rear frame. You see the factory mount here. We're gonna pop our isolator out with our exhaust hanger tool. All right, then we have our supplied spacer. It's going to be oriented like this, goes over the factory mount. Our hanger will go over it like so. And then we have two 13mm locking nuts that will tighten it down. I'm gonna grab our ratchet and 13mm socket and tighten those down. All right, then we're gonna take our factory isolator and just slide it over our new hanger. All right, now we can get our muffler section on. We're gonna get our clamp over first. So you can grab our muffler, slide it into the over the axle section first. And then we can get it into our hanger on our driver's side. And then we have our pull jack here just to help support it till we get the tip on. All right, now we're gonna put our tip section on. We're gonna put our clamp over first, and then slide it over our muffler. All right, now here's where you wanna make the decision whether or not you wanna go with the more off-road tip, which has the hanger on it and is just a slash. For our purposes today, we are going to go with the tip, which is an angled piece with the hanger, and the tip attaches to that. All right, now we're gonna put this section on that the tip will attach to. We have our clamp, we're gonna put over first. We're gonna put our hanger into our isolator first. Then we're gonna push the muffler up and then slide our section in. All right, now we're gonna go to our front clamp, starting out front, working our way backwards, adjusting the pipes as needed to get everything in the right location, tightening everything down using our impact and 16mm socket. All right, so we're gonna tighten our first clamp down. All right, then we have our next clamp for the over the axle pipe. All right, we have our muffler clamp. All right, then we have our last clamp after our muffler. All right, now we just have our tip to put on. Get it lined up straight. And then we're gonna grab our impact and 13mm socket and tighten that down. All right, now that we have all the exhaust installed, we just need to wire up our valve. So we have our control module, our plug that'll go to our muffler. This goes to our control module, and it'll go to a 12-volt cigarette outlet. So we do have one back here. That's where we're gonna get our power. And this access panel right here is how we're gonna get down to our muffler. All right, now in this cover, you will see a plug here. We're gonna pull that out. This is the heat shield for the muffler. This is where we're gonna send our power to our switch down through. We're just gonna feed it down and forward. We'll be able to go back underneath and secure that. Now this, you would want to either punch a hole through and run the connector through, or if you want to, you cut a little slit, but you do want to make sure that you put that back in because you do not want an open hole. We have our extra wire tucked away. I'm gonna plug this into our control box, which we can also just set down in here. If you wanted to, you could mount it down with a couple self-tapping screws or however you like, maybe some double-sided tape. Now we're gonna plug in our 12-volt outlet. All right, now we start to plug in our 12-volt outlet. Now you can run your wire however you want. If you want to hide it a little bit better, we're just gonna run ours down the side here and plug into our 12-volt outlet. All right, now we're gonna pull our wire down from our module, plug it into our valve. We're just gonna take a zip tie it to the frame right here. Just you wanna make sure it stays away from anything hot or anything that's moving, like the suspension. Just take a pair of diagonal cutters and cut off the excess. All right, now that you have everything wired up, it's just a simple key fob to control it. Hold A to open it up, hold B to close it. You can do it while driving and also while stopped. All right, and that wraps up our install of our X-Force Varex catback exhaust for our 2021 and newer Ford Bronco, excluding the Raptor. And remember, for everything Bronco, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.